What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to give you guys a little bit of a weekend market update as Bitcoin has gotten an absolute nuke last night. And I want to go ahead and cover this move because if you guys have been following the channel for the past couple of weeks, you will know that I have been leaning pretty bearish based off of some pretty specific things such as money flow on the higher time frames. However, if you watched my last market update from a couple of days ago, we were actually looking at a potential very bullish signal looking to print on the daily time frame. However, in that video, we talked about how we were actually in need of another move to the downside to actually complete the pattern, give us that signal, and the opportunity to get another big move to the upside. Now, another thing we've been talking about is that 200-week moving average and how my sentiment, being bullish or bearish, is basically going to rely on if we can close that weekly candle above that 200-week moving average. And if we go ahead and close below it, I will go ahead and flip a little bit more bearish and expect lower prices for Bitcoin. So right now we are starting to break that 200-week moving average, but are we going to get a bigger breakdown from here, or are we going to complete that bullish signal that we talked about in the previous update and get a big move to the upside? So I want to cover some of that in today's update, guys, and then obviously I'm going to go ahead and give you guys those key levels to the downside that we need to be watching and the next line in the sand that will make me expect much lower prices for Bitcoin. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin chart, and I want to go ahead and start with the weekly time frame. So as you guys know, we've been looking at this 200-week moving average, and this has basically been the thing I'm watching to kind of either remain with my bearish sentiment or flip to look for higher prices for Bitcoin. And as you can see here, we are starting to break this level, but I am not quite freaking out just yet because, again, as you know, in my market update from a couple of days ago, we were actually looking for this potential move down over the weekend, which is right now. And we also looked at this on my live stream, and this is kind of what we needed to do to potentially complete that bullish signal that could push us up to 30K and beyond. And we're going to go ahead and check in on that in a second. So just real briefly, guys, I am not freaking out just yet. We still have about 1 day and 5 hours to print our next weekly candle. And in that time, if we are able to get a very strong bounce and close this candle above this level, that may be a very bullish sign for Bitcoin. But if we wind up closing this weekly candle below it, I will go ahead and flip a little bit more bearish, targeting some lower levels that we'll go over in just a minute. Now, I want to take you guys down to the daily time frame and take a look at kind of what that signal was that we were looking at in my previous update and if it is going to still be in play right now. Now, as you can see, what we were looking at here on those previous market updates was a potential bullish divergence here forming on the daily time frame. And in order to do that, guys, you need to have lower lows on your price action with higher lows on your momentum waves. Now, at the time of that recording, we actually didn't have a lower low on our price action. You can see we did indeed get a lower low here on our price action, and we did actually get a local bullish divergence right here, which we obviously saw and wound up trading this with the premium Discord, getting a fire long all the way up into this level before getting a rejection down, which we did go ahead and short it from there as well. Making money both ways is the best way to do it. And if you guys want to learn how to do that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of these urgent market updates, because we do give a lot of freebies away on this channel. It's kind of our thing. But you can see we did get that daily bull div to play out, but we actually wound up coming back down with our momentum wave, which opened up the door to put in a third drive of bullish divergence, which could be a very bullish sign. Now, in order to do that, we needed lower lows on our price action, which we actually didn't have on our actual candlesticks until now, right? We needed price to get pushed down to actually complete this pattern and give us that bullish divergence. Now, this is not a go long video. This is honestly kind of a pretty bearish video. However, if we wind up printing this green dot on the daily, we will indeed have another bullish divergence on the daily time frame, and that could be the thing that we need to get a big bounce up here and close that weekly candle again above that 200-week moving average. And if we are able to do that, we're going to have to set our targets to higher prices and not lower prices. However, we have to be careful here, guys, because if we do continue to push down and this momentum wave winds up coming down and putting in a lower low, we will obviously not have a higher low on our momentum waves, and we will not have that bullish divergence. So this is not a signal that you want to front run. You want to wait for that green dot to print here and confirm before making any trading decisions based off of that. But I do just want to point out that this signal is still in play, and we're actually getting exactly what we were looking for, that potential weekend dump to break that 200-week moving average before putting in that bull div, getting that strong bounce, and closing above it. Now, I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen, but it is definitely the number one thing I'm watching this weekend. I am going to a Braves game today. But anyway, guys, that is going to be the number one thing I'm looking at. Again, kind of the same thing I was looking at on last night's live stream, and we are seeing this play out exactly as we would expect, but I'm going to watch this signal to see if it confirms, and if it does, I will be flipping a little bit more bearish again, with that 200-week moving average being the line in the sand. Now, guys, I do want to go ahead and take a look at some of our key levels here, and I'm just going to mark these out live with you guys right now. So we have our main macro range, which is coming in right here with our value area low, coming in at about $26,300 currently, and this was actually not looking too bad as we were starting to hold support up here throughout the week. However, obviously we have crashed through this level and we are continuing down, and again, that value area low comes in at 26,300, and I'm gonna go ahead and delete the candlesticks right here quick just so I can get an idea of where that 200 weekly moving average is living right now, and it is sitting at about 26,400. So you can see that value area low and that 200 week moving average are very, very close to each other. So again, our goal here over the weekend is to get a big bounce, at least for the bulls, to get a big bounce and get back above that 200 week moving average slash value area low of this range. And what that will wind up doing is opening up the door to potentially get a move back up to the highs of our range and then potentially break out to higher prices. And those higher prices are potentially coming in at about 33K. And I know that seems crazy because we're dumping right now, but again, we need to see a few things happen before we anticipate those higher prices. So that is going to be the case if a bounce does come in. That's what we need to see happen for me to flip bullish and expect those higher prices. However, as you can see, not only on the 4-hour, but also on the daily, our money flow is continuing to come straight out here, which is one of the main reasons why I flipped back to bearish last night on my live stream, was because we were getting our money flow coming straight out here on the daily, and our 2-day is actually coming up a bit, but we are still in the red. These were the main things that were making me remain bearish, and why I was looking for shorts at all of these lower highs rather than looking for moonshot longs at the lows. And this has played out really well for me and the premium Discord, or the kitchen as I like to call it, because we have been absolutely cashing out on these moves. And our latest short position was up here from about 26,700, where I actually put out this trade setup looking for a short at the value area high of this range that we were trading in. It was a local range, but we got all our bearish confirmations to go short from this level. And we were originally just targeting the value area low of the range, which is how we trade the ranges here. And we basically look for shorts at the highs, look to target the lows, and then that is where we lock in partial profits, move our stop loss to break even, and then hold our moon bag in case we get a breakdown below the range and get a big dump like we did. And if that happens, which it does once in a while, you turned your little 1 to 2% trade into an absolute grand slam, which is exactly what happened here. Now, if I go back in bar replay mode so I can move these value area levels back to where they were, this was our original trade, and I want to just show you guys this because I think it's a teachable moment. We basically came up to our value area high. Not only was it a value area high, but we also had a local golden pocket here, which is a lot of the times where price likes to come in and reject at. And we also got some bearish confirmations, which I'm not going to go into the exact confirmations that we got. However, this is what we were looking for on that short position, looking to get a move down potentially to the value area low as a take profit, with obviously taking in partial profits at the middle of the range or the point of control right here. And obviously we got all of our confirmations. Again, guys, you want to look for longs at the lows and shorts from the highs. We know because of the way the volume profile works, it is much more likely that once you get accepted back into the range, you are going to see that value area low again, even if price is messy like it was here. And we got into that trade. We wound up coming down, and then we played around on the point of control for quite some time. And then finally, we wound up getting that move down to the value area low, hitting our final TP. As I just said, I do like to move my stop loss to break even at this point, lock in some more gains, and then hold part of that trade in case we break below that range and dump to lower prices. We are then short from the actual top of the range. And that is obviously exactly what happened here. We got an absolute nuke out of the range to much lower prices, and we wound up hitting that trade for over 4.5%. So shout out to the kitchen and the premium Discord and anyone who was able to get into that position. It was a super saucy trade, but let's talk about what the levels are underneath us and what levels we need to be looking at and what we can expect if we don't hold support on some of these key levels. So guys, if we continue to the downside, the next key level that I'm going to be looking at, obviously we have this level here at about 25,300. We've been looking at this level for quite some time on the channel. So this blue box between about 25,300 and about 24,700 is going to be the next major level I'm looking at for the most part. And if we do continue down here, guys, I will be looking for bounces within this blue box. However, if we get to the bottom of this box, we will be testing the value area high of this previous range that we traded in. And this is going to be a very key level to watch, because if we wind up losing this level, because it is the value area high of this range, if we break below this and cannot get back above, now we've been talking about this forever on my live stream, if we break this level, guys, that is going to be very likely that we are going to get a bigger breakdown here for Bitcoin and potentially come a little bit deeper to look at that $23,000 level, which again is going to be the technical target of this head and shoulders that we have been forming. And if we are going to see this thing break down, and this little fake out pump to the upside that we got here was just a bearish retest, and we're going to see price come lower, the technical breakdown target of this head and shoulders does bring you to about $23,000, which would make sense because it is the point of control of our previous range. And we all know that when you lose a value area and get imbalanced to the downside or the upside, price is likely to go hunt out that next highest volume node. And if we turn on that VPVR, you can see that next highest volume node is all the way down here at $23,000. We clung to this point of control forever, which is right here. And again, if we decisively lose this level, our next high volume node is right here at that value area high. But once we get below that level, the highest volume node is down here at 23K. I'm not guaranteeing we're going to come down to 23K. We still need to lose that 200-week moving average decisively with the candle close, again, happening in about a day and 5 hours. And then we're also going to have to lose our next major key level at that value area high of the previous range, right about here, sitting at about $24,750. So, guys, I think that's all the time I got for today's market update. I just wanted to keep you guys informed over the weekend as we did get a pretty drastic move down. For the bulls, you want to be keeping your eye on that daily bullish divergence as well as the 200-week moving average. If you close that weekly candle above and we get that daily bull div, that would be a very good sign for the bulls. But again, with the way money flow is looking on those higher daily time frames, if we're unable to close that weekly candle above the 200-week moving average, I will expect a bigger breakdown, with our next major level of support being the previous value area high at $24,750. And then if we lose that, it's probably going to get pretty bloody for Bitcoin. And with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for today's market update. Smash that like button and hit the subscribe button if you found any value and you like these weekend updates. And with all that being said, that's all the time I got for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Frankie Candles out.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like.